Spooky, scary skeletons and shivers down your spine. Shrieking skulls will shock your soul, seal your doom tonight.
Hey guys, it's Nick from This Here, and today I'm bringing you a Dead by Daylight speculation video. I'm going to be talking about who I think the next Dead by Daylight killer is for Chapter 16. So, with the 4-year anniversary of Dead by Daylight coming up, Behavior Interactive confirmed on their website that Chapter 16, and I quote, will feature a classic license, one that has marked horror since its inception. As with every chapter, it will feature a new map, a terrifying new killer, and a mysterious survivor. I have a couple of ideas as to who I think this new DLC character could be. To start my list off, I want to mention Candyman. I've made a video on him because I did think that he might be the next licensed killer, but after Behavior's new hints, I really don't think that it applies to Candyman. Candyman isn't exactly super iconic, and he hasn't marked the horror world since his inception. So I don't think that kind of a statement would fit Candyman. He's more on the niche side of killers, sort of like Pinhead. I wouldn't consider Candyman to be nearly as iconic as the likes of Freddy or Jason. The Candyman movie has been delayed without a further date, so it's possible that they are planning to use Candyman for Dead by Daylight closer to the movie's release. This is another turning point for me to believe that Candyman is not coming into this chapter, is that a YouTuber known by Scott Jund, who knows a lot about Dead by Daylight. I believe he's not exactly an insider source, but the developers know of him and like him and have allowed him to go to their headquarters, so to speak. So he's known about the last couple of killers, and here in this clip he says that it's not Candyman for Chapter 16.
It's not Candyman. It's not Candyman.
Next on the list is Chucky. If they ever figured out how to make him work, his voice and name alone are very iconic in the horror world. Chucky has been scaring parents and kids alike ever since the 80s, and if anybody deserves a spot in this game, it's definitely him. I know Behavior has talked about Chucky in the past, and they have said that they have considered him, but I'm pretty sure it's obvious the reason he hasn't been used yet is because he's so small. There's no killers in the game that are as tiny as Chucky is, so until they can find a way to format Chucky into this game, I don't expect to get him in this chapter, but who knows, maybe they have finally figured out a way to make him work. But either way, I'm almost positive that Chucky will be in Dead by Daylight eventually. The next character on my list is a bit of a curveball, but it's Jason Voorhees. I know he's unlikely, but with their description and hint, it fits so perfectly. Jason is the king of horror movies, as everyone recognizes the machete-wielding, hockey mask-wearing monster. He had his own game, and that game had issues with a Friday the 13th lawsuit, so I think it's pretty unlikely that we will ever get Jason in Dead by Daylight, even though, out of any slasher character that's been created, he deserves it the most. He could come with a Camp Crystal Lake map, and even a Tommy Jarvis survivor. If Jason ever comes to Dead by Daylight, it would literally be all of my dreams come true. And now, the last character on my list, and the one who I think is the most likely to be Chapter 16's killer, is the Xenomorph from the Alien movies. Alien was the most realistic franchise that came to mind after reading the new description and hint. Alien made a huge impact after the first movie on not only the horror genre, but also the science fiction genre. The Xenomorph is another very popular and iconic character, along with Ellen Ripley herself, fitting as the mysterious survivor, since she's such a badass. People have mentioned the new Predator game and how they would most likely get Alien's rights before Dead by Daylight would, but I have to disagree. If we ever do get the Xenomorph in Predator Hunting Grounds, I don't think it'll be for a long time. The game just came out and it's centered solely on the Predator. They easily could have made another Alien vs Predator game if that's what they wanted to do. The game would have to be totally reformatted to make the Xenomorph work as a hunter, as he shares almost no similarities to the Predator and how he would play. I mean seriously, the Xenomorph's not going to be sitting up in a tree stalking his prey while shooting them with cannons and bows. They'd have to totally remake the game to make the Xenomorph work. Whereas Dead by Daylight uses a more generic format for their killers, and Xenomorph could easily be made a killer with his tail or claws as his melee weapon, and his acid blood or stealth as his powers. No matter who the killer ends up being for this next chapter, I am so excited for May 26th. Thanks for watching, guys. As always, this has been Nickfamous. See ya later.
Let's see how he likes a Kamehameha!